Folks, welcome back to Tons of Gas YouTube channel. Follow us on Instagram as well at Tons of Gas. Today I'm reviewing one of my favorite cars. It is a 1980 Porsche DP Motorsports. It was based on the 935. The difference between a 911 and a 930 or a 935 is the fender flares. The 935 came with a slant nose in the front. The DP is a special build. It's from Design Plastics out of Germany, and they did all of the smooth front fenders, no pop-up headlights. There's a lot of DPs out there, but a lot of them are not actually factory built. This is factory built from DP in Germany. One of the main reasons you can tell that is because it doesn't have the pop-up headlights here. The headlights are embedded in the front bumper, which is pretty cool. It's always been a favorite of mine. I got this probably 5 years ago. I found it in a trailer, believe it or not, in Denver, North Carolina. They were working on one of my Alfa Romeo race cars. I asked them what the turbo went to on the shelf. The owner responded that it was a special car, special Porsche from Germany. I had to see what it is. I got the keys, I went into it. It was all torn apart. Bondo, everything was taken apart. The engine was disassembled. So I asked him if the owner wanted to sell it. He replied, maybe. He's in and out of jail, I guess, something of that nature. But nevertheless, it was based down in Miami, Florida. Before that, where they were based, the engine came out. They ended up moving shops and moved to Denver, North Carolina. That's where I found the car. Nevertheless, I got in touch with the owner, made him an offer. I think this was 5 o'clock on a weekday. And he said, yeah. His name's Roberto. He said, yeah, I take it. So he was up here by 8 o'clock the next morning, which means he drove straight from Miami here. But anyways, Roberto was in the import business in Miami back in the day. Self-admittance, I met him, had a great time, told me a lot of stories about what was going on in that era, machine guns, drugs, running from the police, all of those things. So that's where this car came from, Miami. It's one of my favorite cars. It's an absolute beast to drive. It's got the white Fuchs with the white paint, white interior. This is how it was originally. I do have a set of actual Gaudis that are, let's see, they're 15 by 13 in the rear and 15 by 11 up front. These are 9 and 11, or 9 and 11 this way. But I'm running a Michelin. These are really aggressive tires. They're 15-inch, but they're really aggressive, almost slicks. So you don't want to run these out in the rain. I race cars as well, and anything that gets in the rain like this, it's pretty much hydroplaning. So this is pretty cool. It's got the DP also came with these really sleek side mirrors on it. So I'll go ahead and show you the interior now. This is one of my favorite parts. This is white leather. I had it redone leather. This is exactly how I got it, but I just had it restored. All the dash, the shifter boot, the shifter, steering wheel. Pretty cool stereo in here. This is called a Clarion deck. As you can see, it's got 4 units on there. This is actually functioning, and believe it or not, I actually found one of these new old stock. I think I bought it from like Istanbul or something of that nature. But these would come in the DP. They'd also come in the AMG Mercedes, a lot of the big body style AMGs, the pre-mergers. Here we have the jockey for the stereo. You can adjust the volume from it, and it's got an equalizer built into it. So that's pretty cool. Back in the 80s, those were really, really neat. Once again, they would come in some of the Porsches, the AMGs, things of that nature. The car's got roughly 29,000 miles on it, original. I've probably put 6,000 of those miles on in the last couple of years. I'm gonna show you the engine here. I built this engine. They normally come with a 3.3 liter. I had this one bored out to a 3.4. I also had cams put in it from Webcams. I had a headers and exhaust put on it from Rarely Late, a bigger intercooler, bigger turbo. very functioning AC, believe it or not. I wanted the AC, factory AC back on. That works pretty well. It doesn't work tremendously, but in the summer here when it's 95, it takes a little bit out of it. So cools you down a little bit. The engine is pushing about 450 horsepower, maybe 475 in that range. And when the boost comes on at about 3,800, 3,800, once you get out of first gear, it is literally out of there. They used to call these the Widowmakers because when that boost came on, the rear end would just slide out and people were wrecking them and dying and stuff, and things of that nature. But nevertheless, it is one hell of a machine. It absolutely screams. The turbo's insane to hear. It's always winding up. It's always spooling. Lots and lots of horsepower for this weight of a car. I haven't officially weighed it yet, but I want to take it and get it weighed. This car is all mostly fiberglass. All this stuff is fiberglass. So the car is very, very light. It's just one of my favorites, such a classic from that era of the early 80s. DP Motorsports was formed in Germany to race. Well, they developed the bodies for Kramer when Kramer was racing and Kramer was building the engines back in the day. They needed the body work, so DP did the body work for the Porsches at that time, and Kramer and Porsche were together racing these, and they absolutely demolished everybody with their 935s. A lot of them will have bigger wings on it and a lot more extreme fender flares and front end, which I do have some of the old DP parts from a Kramer car. It's not necessarily for this one. I just bought it for automobilia for my garage. 935 DP Motorsports, one of my favorite cars. So we'll go for a ride. So that's a hell of a throw from first to second, but nevertheless, being a 4-speed, even around town, I hardly get out of like second gear. Even driving in the neighborhood, I can still just keep it in first. So when you're driving, you can hear the turbo just spooling up. The turbo kicks in about 3,700, 3,800 RPMs. So we'll give it a little bit of a boost here. Put it back in a second. We'll do one more pull. All right, guys, that was a trip. Please like, share, subscribe, send it to your friend, your brother, your sister, your priest, and everybody else. Thanks for watching. Follow me at Tons of Gas on Instagram. Thank you.